dictionary defines wetting as the fusing of two metals with a hot torch.
How's it going, guys? It's your boy Random Tall Guy. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me. In today's video, I'm going to continue working on the Jeep Cherokee that I just picked up a couple of weeks ago. Today, we're going to add a sway bar and sway bar end links to the front because it's missing. The ones on the back, the sway bar is there, but I believe one side is missing the sway bar end link, so I'm going to worry about that another time. Today, I'm just going to focus on the front sway bar end link and the sway bar itself. So if you take a look over here, we have everything that we need here. This is a brand new sway bar and the sway bar end links. Also the mountain brackets right here with new bushings and all the hardware we're gonna need. And I also have this replacement bolt here. This is gonna replace one of the mountain bolts on the axle because the threads and the bolt itself look like it snapped. So I'm gonna replace that, and I'm gonna show you a simple way to replace it. So let's get started. All right, guys, so I'm under the XJ. If you take a look over here, this is one of the mounting bolts for the sway bar end link on the passenger side, and this one right here is the driver's side. If you take a look at it, it's completely rotted. I believe it's snapped. I believe it's supposed to be a bit longer, and it looks like somebody took a hammer to it trying to remove it. So today I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this. Now, a lot of people like banging this with a sledgehammer and stuff like that. You can kind of do that, but I hate doing that because this bracket right here, this piece of metal, you can actually bend it out of place, or worst case scenario, if it's brittle, it can actually crack, and then you have to weld it back on and stuff like that. So I don't like banging it. I'm gonna use a basic ball joint puller right here. I'm gonna basically line it up. I believe I have enough room. Perfect. Look, on the first try, it actually fit perfectly on it. So I'm gonna use this to draw this this bolt right out of this metal bracket, and then we can go ahead and install the new one. All right, so it looks like the ball joint puller keeps slipping from this point right here. This is because it's all rounded and it's not like flat. So I'm gonna take a grinder and I'm just gonna make it nice and flat. Then I'm gonna go ahead and retry. Alright guys, update. So I was able to remove the bolt using the ball joint puller. It came out perfectly fine. At the end, I gave it a few love taps with a sledgehammer and it came right out. Also, if you take a look at the original bolt here, it looks like the previous owner tried to cut it right there. You can see that he took a cutter wheel and he tried to cut off the bolt head, and I guess he just stopped or quit. So easiest way to remove this, guys, is using a ball joint puller. Now, one thing I noticed about the new hardware is that it's missing the splines here. I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue, but I was checking over here in the hole, and it looks like the splines in here, the grooves, are all rounded off. So I think this shouldn't be a problem. If anything, if this thing starts spinning, I can always use a Torx bit for this to hold it into place as I use the nut to torque it down. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this in. I added some grease to make it easier to remove if that's ever an issue. Looks perfect. All right, so the new bolt just slipped right in. Now the only issue is the thing about the splines is that the original one would basically stay in place, so you never have to hold it on this side with a socket. But for this one, as I mentioned, you're gonna need to use a Torx socket for this, so you can hold it in place as you torque it down with the nut. All right, the next thing I'm doing, I'm gonna add the rubber bushing onto the sway bar, and I went ahead and I added some grease on both sides to make it easier to slip this on, and also to prevent any friction which will cause the paint to wear off, causing rust. So there we go, that's one side right there. All right, and there we go, another side right there. All right, so now I should be able to put the mount and the fasteners onto these two threaded holes right here, and same thing on this side. So now I'm gonna go ahead and see how I can lift this whole bracket up and bolt on the mounts for these. So now I have the sway bar supported by the 6-ton jack stands, just so to make it easier. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put the metal bracket, and I'm gonna go ahead and bolt it on to both sides. All right guys, so I got the sway bar mounted to the frame on both sides. I'm gonna go back and torque this down later. All right, so we're gonna put the sway bar end links in. So we're gonna go ahead and slide it in. Now there's a couple of components you need to put into this. So right now you have this rod, this metal washer. Then you're gonna go ahead and put this rubber piece in, like that. Then you're gonna go ahead and snake this through the actual bar, just like that. And then you're gonna go ahead and sandwich this bar with another rubber bushing, just like that. And then finally go ahead and put the washer to top it all off, just like that. Then after that, finally you're gonna go ahead and put the nut on top. All right, one thing I want to mention, this extra right here has a 3-inch lift, and I believe this is the factory length of the sway bar end length, so that's perfectly fine. If your XJ is lifted more than 3 inches, like 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, you're gonna need longer sway bar end lengths for that. This one, since it's a 3-inch lift, this one fit perfectly fine. I have enough threads for the nut on top and everything. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the other side. Also, the other thing I forgot to mention, you see this bend right here? You wanna make sure this bend is on top. Basically, this is gonna give the tire extra room, so when it turns, the tire is not gonna rub against the sway bar end link. All right guys, just to recap, so we got the sway bar mounted by 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, and then we got the sway bar end link connected right here, which how this goes is you have the sway bar end link, then you have this washer, this bushing, a washer, and then a nut. All right, over here, I went ahead and put the nut. In order to stop the bolt from spinning, I used a T50, I believe, Torx bit right here to hold it in place as I torque it down. Now for this side, this one, it has the, now for this one, this is the original bolt, so it's not gonna spin. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the nut. Now the annoying thing about the passenger side here is that you're gonna need a swivel to torque this down, because you have this bracket for the steering stabilizer in the way. So you're gonna need some type of swivel, because this part's really annoying to torque down. So you're gonna need a swivel just like this. So you have different angles to move, so you have enough room to torque this down. All right guys, with all the fastener in place, now we can go ahead and torque it down. Now I looked it up for the torque specs for this. So for the clamps, which is this right here on both sides, for that you're gonna torque it down to 40 foot-pounds. The lower nut, the lower bolt and nut here, you're gonna torque that down to 55 foot-pounds. And for the top nut there, the manual is saying 10 foot-pounds. I think that's not enough. Some forum says 20 foot-pounds, so I guess use your best judgment there. I'm just gonna follow the manual and just torque it down to 10 foot-pounds. So 10 foot-pounds, 55 foot-pounds. These two right here, 40 foot-pounds on both sides. All right guys, so I went ahead and I torqued down all the fasteners. Everything looks nice and tight. You can see that the bushing has to squeeze down. And as I mentioned, this is about 10 foot-pounds. Everything looks fine, and I think I should be all set now. I went ahead and I also turned the tire to make sure that it's not gonna rub or do anything weird, and it looks fine. So I should be all set with the sway bar. All right guys, now of course there's still little things I need to fix around the Jeep. Like for example, the window switches is having some issues, so I need to take a look at that. Also the windshield wiper fluid tank, the pump, I think that went out, so I need to take a look at that as well. So I'm gonna end the video here. There's nothing else I can really fix right now because I don't really have that much parts. So I'm gonna end the video here. Of course, I'm gonna make more videos as I start working on the XJ more. Alright guys, so I'm gonna end the video here. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, drop it down in the comment section below. Also, any parts that I use in this video, I'm gonna put a link in the description below to make it easier for you guys to find it. Now, the hardest thing to order is that bolt for the axle. For some reason, it took about 2 weeks for me to get it. The sway bar end link, I got it like within the next day. So in case you guys are planning to replace that that mounting bolt, just know it might take 2 weeks for you to get that. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Bye bye.